Have you ever asked yourself why some feelings just won't go away, no matter how much you analyze them? Why you keep attracting the same relationships, people who wound you in familiar ways, or why part of you always feels like you're either too much or never quite enough? These patterns don't begin in adulthood. They are echoes, deep and quiet, born long before we had the words to name them. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." But sometimes what shapes you isn't a memory, it's a lie. Not a lie you chose, but one you inherited. And until you uncover it, it will quietly define your worth, your behavior, even your identity. Before we begin, breathe. This isn't just a video, it's a mirror. If your soul feels seen here, subscribe to Deep Psyche, where we don't just explore the mind, we remember who we truly are. Now, let's go deeper. Childhood doesn't end when your age increases. It lives on, not as a phase you pass through, but as a blueprint embedded in your psychology. Jung didn't see the child as merely a stage. He saw it as an archetype, a living symbol of memory, vulnerability, and unrealized potential. And for many of us, that child is still in survival mode. From the very beginning, we adapted to the emotional climate we were born into. If love was conditional, we learned to perform. If feelings were unsafe, we learned to silence them. We didn't reason our way into these responses. Our nervous systems felt the world through tone, tension, touch, or the absence of it. And those sensations wrote the first script of who we had to become to be safe. These scripts become so ingrained that by the time we're adults, they don't feel like patterns, they feel like personality. But they're not. They're survival strategies dressed as identity. Modern neuroscience now confirms what Jung deeply intuited. The brain wires itself around early relational experiences. So a child who learns to shrink themselves to avoid conflict doesn't just choose silence. They become it. And that's why healing feels like loss. You're not just changing behaviors. You're unthreading your identity from strategies that once kept you alive. These adaptations are not shameful. They were sacred. But they came at a cost. To survive, we created a mask. Jung called it the persona, the version of us that could be praised, accepted, or at least left alone. But every time we put on that mask, we exiled something else into the dark. Our rage, our needs, our tears, our voice. The persona isn't fake. It's incomplete. It's who we had to be to avoid rejection. The tragedy is we confuse that mask with the self, and we grow up into adults who are celebrated, even admired, but quietly lost, unsure who they really are beneath all the pleasing, performing, or hiding. The world rewards our adaptation. It calls the repressed child easygoing, the silenced one strong. But underneath the applause is tension, because what looks like confidence is often just a well-polished fear. Jung called this disowned part of the self the shadow. Everything we buried in the dark to be accepted in the light. And here's the thing, in that shadow, the ugliest lie begins to grow. It wasn't screamed at you, it wasn't written down, it was felt, over and over in quiet, ordinary moments. And the lie was this: you, as you are not enough to be loved. Not because someone said it, but because love came with terms. Maybe you were only praised when you achieved, ignored when you were sad, punished for being angry, or praised only when you were quiet, agreeable, invisible. And so you learned, I must become someone else to be safe. This lie is not just emotional, it's biological. Your body remembers what your mind learned to forget. You flinch before speaking your truth. You over-apologize, over-adapt, over-give. You chase perfection. You fear being a burden. All of it, every reaction, is a strategy born from a false belief about your worth. But the lie didn't start with you. It began generations before, passed down through emotionally starved lineages that never learned how to hold the full truth of a child's humanity. And now it lives in you, not as a thought, but as a nervous system reflex, a way of bracing for a world that never made space for your realness. Here's something most never tell you. Healing is not glamorous. It's raw. It's grieving who you had to become. It's sitting with the child within you and whispering, I won't leave you again. If this is resonating with you, take a deep breath, because now we name the turning point. The goal of healing is not to fix what's broken, it's to remember what's whole. Jung didn't believe in self-improvement as we define it today. He spoke of self-recovery, the slow, courageous reclaiming of the parts of ourselves we abandoned to survive. And here's the paradox. The self you're trying to become is actually the self you were before you had to perform. The process of becoming whole, what Jung called individuation, isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming real. It means turning toward the angry child, the soft one, the wild one, the scared one, not to fix them, but to finally say, I see you. You're allowed to be here. These parts are not flaws, they are keys. Every feeling you buried holds wisdom. Every tear unshed carries memory. Every rage you silenced holds boundary. You don't heal by erasing those parts. You heal by welcoming them home. And yes, the world may not understand, but you do. And that's enough. Every time you choose presence over performance, every time you allow yourself to feel, to say no, to rest, to speak, to be, you are breaking the cycle. You are unlearning the ugliest lie. Not through logic, but through living. Because the moment you start choosing your truth over your training, the lie loses its power. And you realize, you never had to earn your worth. You always had it. The lie said your value was conditional, but your existence says otherwise. Let that truth land. If this message stirred something within you, don't keep it inside. Leave a comment below. Share what part spoke to your soul. Your story might be the mirror someone else desperately needs. And if you believe in this kind of grounded soul-level growth, subscribe to Deep Psyche. We're not here to give you fluff. We're here to help you remember who you